This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. There he is, locked and loaded and ready to go. So are you picking the Dolphins this week to win? Oh, you're muted. Can't hear you.
There we go. Okay. No, it said unmute at first, and then I hit it, and I guess it switched back and forth. Of course, I'm picking the Dolphins to win. Are you asking me straight up money line or I guess the spread?
No, I'm not doing the money line this week. It's plus 235. It's too much, bro. I've taken the money line the last 2 weeks, and it's been beautiful. And I've taken the points also. This week I'm actually going to lay the points to 6.5. But I can't do the money line. It's just too much. I got the Dolphins winning by 10 in this game. So I had them winning by 7 last week, and I nailed that. So I laid the points on that one. I thought I really liked the Dolphins last week.
So by that logic, you have them covering then. I'm
yes,
saying
I do. I'm laying the points here, and this week I'm laying the point. I took the points last week. I laid the points last week. I took the points the week before, right? I think that's how I went. And this week I am going to lay the 6.5 because I think they win by 10. Actually,
yeah. In the Sun Sentinel, I said 28-17 Dolphins. So yeah, if you go by that, yep, I have them covering.
Yeah, I really like it. Are you expecting Waddle to be out? Because they've taken the precautionary approach, and I say he's out. Safed also agrees. What do you think?
Yeah, we don't have the injury report yet this Thursday, but he wasn't out at practice, was not seen, so that's a second straight day, a Thursday. He's trying to progress through concussion protocol, and we did see him Wednesday out there, but he didn't have his helmet on. He wasn't participating. He was in the stretch, but that was all. So if he wasn't seen today, not sure what that means, if that possibly a setback or just he wasn't really participating Wednesday anyway. So it might just be same level of concussion protocol, whatever step he was in that 5-step protocol. So still seems to be a ways away in the protocol. So not looking good for Sunday if by Thursday he's still not even a limited participant in practice.
I just think they'll take the precautionary approach anyway, with like they've done with everything so far. They've kind of taken everything slow. They haven't pushed anything whatsoever. I have a hard time. Plus, I hate to say it this way, you don't really need him for this week. You should be able to beat the Denver Broncos with the rest of your wide receiving core, which, by the way, is still a very good wide receiving core. Overall, Cedric Wilson, this is a great opportunity for him to shine. You can use Craycraft on the outside. You can use Azukama on the outside. And if you want to activate Chosen or Braylon Sanders, you can actually do that. And Berrios can stay in the slot. And X can still terrorize. Tyreek can still terrorize everybody out there. So your receiving core will be fine, dude. I don't think it'll hurt.
Yeah, and McDaniel has taken a cautious approach previous times when he's dealing with concussion protocol. Now, those instances that I'm thinking of last year have been specifically with the quarterbacks, whether it's Tua, who got cleared on a Saturday, but then McDaniel had already decided on that he wasn't going to play that Sunday when Teddy Bridgewater went through a similar thing. So, and then he had Skylar Thompson already slated as the starter. So that's the quarterback who wasn't practicing all week. So maybe a wide receiver, he could look at it differently if Waddle was to be cleared by tomorrow or Saturday or even Sunday morning. But you're right. The Dolphins do have depth at receiver. Just based on the Broncos having Patrick Surtain II as an all-pro corner on one side, then if he is able to limit Tyreek Hill, which is still a big if because Tyreek is so dynamic and the motions in this offense are still going to get him open. But if Surtain were to be able to slow down Tyreek a little bit, then you do want that elite number 2 receiver to be able to go on the other side. But, you said it, the Dolphins have more targets for Braxton Berrios, River Craycraft. You can get Cedric Wilson activated. He's been inactive, and finally give him a chance to debut, maybe a Robbie Chosen as well if you bring him up from the practice squad. So not too worried about it.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that you should be too worried about overall. It sucks to lose him. Yes. But I think it'll be, overall, it'll be a good thing. A-Chain, are you expecting more playing time for A-Chain this week?
Yeah, got to be based on Savon Ahmed. Mike McDaniel already knew on Wednesday he wasn't going to practice them either that day or today, Thursday. So again, he wasn't seen today at practice. Groin injuries, they can linger a little bit. They can take some time to recover from. I think we saw that from Xavier Howard last year. He tried to play through that and then hurt the other groin because he's compensating out there on the field. So I would just say if Savon Ahmed, you leave him off, and then you already know Raheem Mostert. He's turning into kind of a bell cow now, where he got those 18 carries last week. We haven't seen those kind of numbers, those kind of touches from him in the past, but to be able to handle that much of a workload, look really good doing it. And then you already know you're not going to have Jeff Wilson, so Savon Ahmed is out. Go ahead and give A-Chain some more work. He debuted a little bit in the second half of that Patriots game, so got his first carry as an NFL rookie. So now maybe give him a shot at maybe breaking off a big one with that speed.
Wow, you see this? Trevon Diggs just tore his ACL. He is out for the year for the Cowboys.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the Cowboys are another team like the Dolphins that's becoming a sort of a national darling. Well, I guess the Cowboys always are, but just based on their start, that a lot of people, I mean, I see, I can't remember who I saw, but I mean, pundits it might have been Pat McAfee saying Cowboys Dolphins Super Bowl. The way it looks
I saw it. I saw, which I kind of laughed because I'm sorry, dude. I until I see clutchness from that quarterback. Like, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I think he's actually a decent passer, but in like really pressure type moments, Dak Prescott does not come through, dude. And like he was, I get it. They've torn ass here in the first 2 weeks, but he turns over the ball like crazy. I think he threw the most interceptions in the NFL last year. I have a hard time trusting Dak Prescott in clutch moments. That's
did he throw more than Josh Allen last year?
Huh?
Was it Josh Allen or him?
One of the two, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Look it up for me. Who threw most interceptions last year? Who was? I'm. If it's not Dak, dude, he might have been second, but I could have sworn that Dak was number 2. So that's where I was differing with him because I can't trust the Cowboys. I hear this all the time about the Cowboys, and they do have a nice defense, bro. Their defense is special, my brother. Okay? Give it to us.
There was a tie at 15 interceptions last year.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Who?
Dak Prescott
and
Davis Mills.
Oh, wow. I was surprised he threw enough. Well, he's always playing from behind.
Yes, dude. I was shocked I heard that name, Davis Mills. I was like, wow, he threw the ball that much that he got 15 interceptions? Or maybe he threw them in 5 games. I don't know.
Probably total turnovers because Josh Allen, you have to count the fumbles too.
Yeah. He had 14? Oh, there you go. You were close.
Yeah. Right.
Cousins, Carr, and who? And Allen were all in the top 5. Cousins, Carr, and Allen, rounded out the top 5 in that one. How about that, dude? Yeah. Do you expect Tua to be motivated because Sean Payton was talking shit about him last year?
I don't think that would be a source of motivation for him. That's just not the way he's wired. I think he means it when he always says that he doesn't pay attention to what's being said about him. I mean, even the Ryan Clark comments from, what was it, a month ago now, maybe a little less. He really was just told moments earlier, coming off the practice field by Dolphins PR, that, hey, this question is probably going to be coming. So that was kind of just the only time he had seen the clip or been prepped at all for it. So I really don't think he pays attention much to it. I think he's just motivated because he wants to win. He wants to produce, and just the team-oriented guy that he is. Yesterday, he was talking about how much he wants to win for South Florida and deliver a title coming off the inspiration that he's seen from the Heat and the Panthers making their runs to the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals, respectively. So I think he's just motivated to win and win every week, regardless of who's on the other side and who has said what about him.
Hey, dude, I got to give Finn's 1, 2, 3 a little credit here. He made a great point about the Dallas Cowboys situation. Trevon Diggs is out. Bro, they have Noah Igbenogany. I mean, do you need anything more? I mean, come on, bro. I mean, you just slide Noah right into Trevon Diggs' spot, plug and play. Probably will get more interceptions than Trevon Diggs, right? He'll probably shut down more people. Noah Igbenogany is going to save the Dallas Cowboys season, bro.
Yeah, I don't know about interceptions, but as long as he's playing on Sunday Night Football, Noah Benogany is going to be the ultimate producer. Whether it's last year, the Pittsburgh Steelers game, the game-sealing interception, Week 1 this year with the Cowboys, he returns that. Well, it was a block kick, right? That he returned for a touchdown. Yeah. So he awesome. Performs when the lights are bright.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen. Unlike Dak Prescott, Noah Igbenogany is a clutch player, bro. Okay, he is.
Can he play quarterback?
I think Noah can do anything. He might be able to play a little quarterback. I think he's going to be high-stepping like Deion Sanders, returning interceptions this week. I think in honor of Deion and Colorado and all that, one of his sons tried it, and obviously Deion ripped his son apart because he wasn't high-stepping. See, Noah, once he'll be high-stepping, and he'll be, I'm telling you, that's a good point there. I forgot that they've got Noah. Although I got to tell you, the Dolphin Nation will lose their minds if Noah becomes a really good player over there.
Oh God, yeah. And then if the what if that Cowboys Dolphins Super Bowl does happen and Noah Benogany is factoring in? Hey, even December 24th, the Cowboys are on the Dolphins regular season schedule.
I hope so. By the way, I hope he does great. He's a great young man. He deserves it. You know, if he was an asshole, then, you know, or let's say a dumbass like Preston Williams, who just, you know, it's just the light never went on. It just like it's dim the entire time, you know. Then I don't have a lot of sympathy for people like that, you know. But I have a lot of sympathy, and I root for Noah Igbenogany because he's a fantastic young man who worked his ass off. It's not a natural position, and it was going to be a tough transition. And the youngin just, you know, couldn't make the transition, but it wasn't for a lack of effort or character or anything like that, dude. The guy was a true pro, and I give him credit for that.
I'll tell you, I loved what I was hearing from him this training camp, the way he was going about his business, the way mentally he had put behind everything of the past. He wasn't trying to live up to any expectations because he's a first-round pick, anything like that. He just said, I'm just working on my craft, focusing on it. I absolutely loved what I was hearing from him. So, and even I felt, hey, maybe he could step up once Jalen Ramsey went down. He was one of the guys competing, and in a new system, maybe the zone defense would be a little bit better for him. There was a scrimmage where he had an interception at Hard Rock Stadium. But ultimately, the Dolphins needed something else. They needed a guy who could play some special teams. Noah Benogany is not a special teamer. Kelvin Joseph can do that. So then that's a big part of where the trade originated.
Mikey pointed out in the chat, and I went to check it, what makes Dak's interceptions even better, he only played in 12 games.
Oh God. That's right, because he's always also injured, too. That's right. That's the other thing that Dak does. He does get injured a lot. So, yeah, that's wow, dude, that's right. Wow, 14 games. That's a great point. My Lord. All right. That's kind of interesting right there. All right. Overall, what are you expecting Armstead to play?
Yeah, I think we talked about a little in the postgame that this would be the ideal situation to just after he had 1 week of practice that then now you can get him into this game. So as long as he is not feeling any type of negative, not even setbacks, just not any cautious at all from his workload in practice this week, then I would say go for it. And then you get that one game under your belt before facing the Buffalo Bills. So I would really like to see him play. I love the job that Kendall Lamb has done protecting the quarterback on the left side. And Tua, of course, with his quick release, he's been helping himself keep himself clean. So it's all been working. The Dolphins have been great run blocking as well, even without Armstead, but will be much better and can run to that side a lot if once Armstead, his bulldozing run blocking abilities is there at left tackle.
Let's hope so. This kind of game is there. Where could Sean Payton do some damage against the Miami Dolphins? If you're looking at his team, offense or defense, where is it that you say, okay, the Dolphins better respect this, or this could hurt them? Is there something like that on that team right now that you're feeling that way?
Yeah, if offense or defense, well, then if Jalen Waddle isn't out, then maybe that's something where they could say, all right, if Patrick Surtain can hold down Tyreek Hill, I can maybe count on the other guys to limit everything else going on. Then that's something. Other side of the ball, then the Broncos offense, well, if you could go back to the way the Dolphins stopped the run in week 1, but I think they fixed a lot of that. So they may try to go to the run early in the game, see where the Dolphins are at physicality-wise, just up front, if they're bringing that same intensity that they knew they had to correct from week 2, if they maybe just felt, all right, we got it all figured out against the Patriots and Ramondre Stevenson, now we can just chill on that side. Well, maybe test that early. That might be one thing I do. And, I love Jerry Jeudy as a receiver. Covered him when he was in high school at Deerfield Beach. So that's one thing, especially with Eli Apple. He didn't look too good just last week against the Patriots. So giving up catches to Devontae Parker, not making open field tackles, letting him get yards after catch. So
doing the things that Eli Apple has done throughout his career, pretty much.
Yeah.
To me, the problem with Eli has always been, and when they signed him, I said, maybe you can hide him a little bit in zone, but once he has to have man-on-man responsibilities, bro, you're rolling the dice, and that's just the way it is, unfortunately. And I wonder if anybody else is going to get some playing time there while we wait for Cam, because I got to tell you, Bessel's made plays, right? Every time. The last 2 weeks here, Bethel's made a play or two. So you just wonder, do you start giving some of the other guys time? Crossan, is he still out?
He's on
he's on PUP, right?
I believe.
He's on IR.
Yeah.
So you start looking at some of the other options. Obviously, how far are we from Needham coming back full go? How far is he?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't had an update of late, but he's at least going the first 4 weeks because he is starting on PUP. So
okay, so that's right. So we've got 2 more weeks to find out if Needham.
Minimum.
Because at least if Needham can come back, you can then put him inside and move Kohu outside and bench Eli. You know what I'm saying? So the question is, do you experiment with anybody else right now while you await Needham to get healthy, Crossan to come back? What do you do there? Do you stay with Eli? Because obviously Cam is not ready yet. He's healthy, but he's not ready yet.
Yeah, I mean, I like Justin Bethel in that dime position when the Dolphins go to that. And also you can kind of limit his workload because he's also a special teamer. So I think that would be a good snap distribution if you only bring him out in the dime packages, and he's really fresh when he does come out in those situations. We've even seen him on the blitz, like that game-sealing play against the Chargers. So, I mean, Cam Smith, I would love to see as well, just to see what you got in him. I mean, he's really stood out in camp. He made a bunch of plays. Every practice, he seemed to have a pass breakup. It's what you saw in the preseason game against the Jaguars. You never know if he might just blow a play, blow a coverage, and then you give up the ball. Yeah, which is one thing Eli Apple has not done yet is give up the deep touchdown. Granted, he's given up the underneath stuff and then not made a tackle and things like that. So, maybe eventually I want to just see what you have at this point in Cam Smith and see if he's ready to go out there. Even Vic Fangio or Ronaldo Hill today was saying that Cam Smith is listening in to Jalen Ramsey. He's always talking to him, sitting next to him in meetings. So I do like to see that, at least for his progress. So at some point I'd like to see him in there if Eli Apple continues to struggle.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting one there, because I think most of us were not happy with Eli. Okay, now if you're McDaniel and you're again facing a 50-plus yard kick, what do you do? Do you punt? Do you go for it, depending on where you're at on the field? Because he is pretty aggressive on those 4th downs. So I'm just wondering, how many more times does he try this and say, well, I'll give him this 52-yarder, see if he's turned the corner. I'll give him a shot at this 55-yarder, see if he's turned the corner. It's kind of been known here for the last year and a half, the guy can't hit a 50-yarder. And so what do you do if you're in that situation from here on out? Because so far you haven't brought anybody in. So,
Yeah, I'll say low pressure situation. If it's early in the game, go ahead and give him a shot. Hopefully that gets some confidence back if he is able to convert one. Because although he did make that one to send him to the playoffs last year, it's got to be in his head. He says it's not, and he just kicks the ball the same way. But it's got to be a mental thing that you're aware, you're self-consciously aware of the numbers from 50 plus and how they do not correlate with everything you kick from within 50, aside from that extra point against the Chargers. So I think it depends on the situation. If it's a 4th and 1 or 2 in that area of the field, I really like going for it in those situations because you could potentially not gain much by punting, where if you end up kicking it into the end zone, it's just a net of like 17 or something maybe. And going for it isn't that much of a risk in that part of the field, where if you kick the field goal and then miss it, all for 3 points, you're potentially even giving them 7 or 8 more yards of field position by sending it back with the snap and then missing the field goal. So I would say the situation, if you're leading by a small amount late, or just within a score, same situation, then same down and distance, you might want to just punt in that situation, make it a longer entire field for the opponent to go. But if it's a situation where you are down 2 or down 3, and that's the spot that you get to, then yeah, you definitely got to just go for the field goal, go for the win or tie on Jason Sanders' foot, and then hope it goes well.
MRI, by the way, has confirmed Trevon Diggs has suffered a torn ACL. It's just not good for the league, period. Yeah. I mean, it's not just about Dallas. It's not good. Any team losing stars, dude. It just sucks, brother. It just completely changes. And I feel terrible for Cowboys fans because obviously he's one of the more electrifying players, dude. He's like fun to watch. Yeah. He's like one of the people you pay a ticket to go see. You know, you're like, you want to see what Trevon Diggs is going to do because he's kind of a player. What you got, Sean?
Because I was watching the chat, Antonio Nyborg, he's got a point here.
Okay. If
Cowboys DBs start dropping like Dolphins DBs did last year, it will convince me Noah is practicing voodoo.
Well, he was down here for a few years. He might have gotten to know a little Cuban lady in Hialeah and then know her tricks.
Some Santeria?
A little Santeria in Hialeah, you know? So you never know, bro. So that could be he had a lot of time on his hands. He wasn't playing a lot. So, maybe he learned a little black magic. You know what I'm saying? So you never know.
Bringing the Cubanazo to the program.
Do you see any roosters or chickens over at his house in Dallas? And do you see one less one today? Okay, is the question. Was it un despojo going on there in Dallas? You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on. Anyway, all right. What do you got going on this Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
Yeah, just getting ready for game week here. Just planning on having the updates tomorrow with all the injuries we're looking forward to, or not looking forward to, but looking for updates on. And then it's right into Broncos game day. So seeing if this Dolphins team can get to 3-0. A lot of storylines this week with the connections. Vic Fangio, his former team, Butch Berry, offensive line coach, doing a great job here after he was fired, not doing so well over with the Broncos. And same as I know it didn't look too good when he was with UM either, but you got to give him credit. So
Chubb got sent away.
I just wrote about Chubb today, actually, so make sure you check that out. He's playing his best ball, it seems, going into this game against the Broncos. So that's it.
Sean Payton talking crap about Tua. I mean, there's a lot of motivating going on, in this game. And I wonder if Sean backtracked right away going, I might be up for that Miami job. Let me backtrack here because he might be my quarterback. Or, you know what? I may face him in the league. Let me backtrack or something. You know what I'm saying? Although there were a lot of people, doing enough drugs to say that Teddy Bridgewater was at the level of Tua or going to take his job or as good or whatever. You weren't one of those maniacs, were you?
No, I never was. And I love Teddy as a Miami guy that, and he tried to revitalize his career as a backup and under Drew Brees. So I felt he was one of the top backups when the Dolphins brought him in, where if Tua were to go down, then all right, you've got a solid guy that you could throw in there. But it didn't pan out that way once he did get on the field. And
his skills are eroding even faster than I thought. When I saw him, I wasn't a big, I liked the guy, but I was never much of a big Teddy believer. I just never thought unfortunately, he had the brain Fortunately, he had the brain. Unfortunately, the Lord did not give him enough skill set. And that was my problem with him. He never really had enough arm, and he never really had enough athleticism. And those are things that really hurt him from being actually a much better quarterback. Because of his brain, that's why he became a decent quarterback. You know, that's why he was able to overcome, because he's a smart guy. But he needed a little bit more talent, and that's what he always lacked. And then the injuries, too. Especially the
injuries, especially.
Yeah, that injuries also took a toll. It's like Pennington. You walk into the league, you're not really that gifted, and then you start suffering injuries on top of all of that. It's not good. You know what I mean? It's just not good, because, as you know, when you're around these athletes, all the injuries end up taking a toll on you one way or another. And then if they mount, as the injuries mount, bro, it starts to wipe you out as an athlete.
By the way, speaking of South Florida products, a lot of them on the Broncos making a homecoming in Miami Gardens today. When you got Patrick Surtain II, the receivers, Jerry Jeudy, and even Brandon Johnson, who is a son of Charles Johnson, former Marlins catcher. Yeah, that was at American Heritage High down here. And Nick Bonito, edge rusher, who's got a sack this year, right? Yeah, he went to St. Thomas Aquinas. So a lot of guys, probably even missing one too, but. Yeah, if only Patrick Surtain, the father, was still on the Dolphins staff, that would have been really cool.
Yeah, that actually would have been really cool. That definitely would have been cool. All right, follow him on Twitter at @DavidFurones_. And more importantly, make sure you subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel and catch his work on a daily basis like I do. David, as always, thank you, my friend. Enjoy the game. We will talk in postgame.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The great David Furones from the South Florida Sun.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.